Diante Lawrence, what's up, my friend? How you doing?
Good. Boom, boom, boom. Ted, once again, appreciate you for the invite. Very much needed. My name is Diante Lawrence. I'm born and raised in the most magical place on the planet, actually, Orlando, Florida. Been in real estate about 6 years. The first half actually was on the investment side, and now with eXp Realty as a realtor. A fun fact, right? One of my favorite things to do in life is take naps, people. So I'm excited to have a good time on here.
Taking naps. We could be best friends. Yeah, that's my whole thought process, especially since I'm old. Naps are my friend. Thank you for that. All right. Maya, you're up. Hi, Maya. Maya Holmes. Welcome.
Hi, how are you guys? My name is Maya Holmes. I'm a realtor with the Property Pros. I've been a realtor for about a little over 6 months, less than a year. Prior to that, I've been a property management assistant in Manhattan. I moved to Orlando in January of this year. So I miss my friends and family like crazy, but I'm appreciative of people like Ted and you guys for making this journey worth it. And I'm just really excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. All right, so 2 special guests that I didn't know. We're going to start with the first one. Mike Self, introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself. I can say that.
The one and only. My name is Mike Self. I was born in Jersey, but I was raised in Florida, so that's probably where the Southern accent comes from. I am a newer agent. I'm with Combs Premier Realty. That is my broker, as you can see. I'm also a flight attendant. I've been doing that for about 4 years. I'm a podcaster as well, and I'm also a baker.
And did we lose you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. What's the last thing you heard?
You're also a baker.
Okay, that's the last thing I said.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
But yeah, that's it. That's me.
Well, that's good. What do you bake?
Right now my specialty is bundt cakes, and also I make cobbler egg rolls.
I'm ready for that.
Yeah, so they're fruit egg rolls.
Somebody's got a little feedback, so I'm sorry. I don't really know which one of you it is. So if you're hearing it, play around with your mute. It's normal for this platform. Thank you, Mike. And it's a pleasant surprise to have you on. Really.
Thank you.
All right, Ken, you're up. Ken Williams, superhero, real estate hero. What's up, buddy?
This is Ken Williams, your real estate hero, proud member of the Carlos German team of eXp Realty, and native New Yorker. Been in primary real estate for the last going into my 9th year, and I'll just take this introduction opportunity to salute you, Ted, for having this opportunity. And now that I made my intro and I can press you, I can take off this fancy hot jacket and get comfortable.
I love it. Thank you, Ken. All right. Emmitt, you're up. Emmitt Combs, what's up, man?
How you doing? Thank you for I've been in real estate, I don't know, maybe about 12 years. A licensee, 4 years after they broke. My hometown is Atlanta, Georgia. I am right now in Georgia. We'll be picking up the keys for our office up here. So
awesome.
Working, appreciate the platform.
We're excited to have you, truly. And thanks for popping in, even if you're in Atlanta right now. All right, Shy, last but not least, of course, Shy.
Hi, I'm Shy Sanders. I actually am also an agent with Combs Premier Realty Group. I have been a realtor since the end of 2019, so going on about 2 years now. I definitely have been enjoying the journey. I appreciate the opportunity to come to this panel today, and I'm ready to get started.
Well, I'm excited that you popped on, Shay Sanders. So thank you. All right, so Juneteenth itself, I think, has really come into the public arena in a way, especially in the last few years. There just seems to be more and more talk about it. And I think a lot of people are clueless about what Juneteenth is all about, even though you can go to Wikipedia, you can Google. I think that most people have no idea what the celebration is about. So rather than me take that away, who would like to tell us what Juneteenth is about? I know a lot of you posted. I could go with Ken Williams if you want, but I'd love for somebody to kind of educate them on what we're actually celebrating. Ken, how about you?
Any chance? It's the celebration, the short part of it is just a celebration for the emancipation for those who were enslaved in the United States. The ironicness of it is that from the time that Abraham Lincoln did the Emancipation Proclamation, it took up to a little over 2 years for it to reach across to the different states and the different regions that were still practicing slavery. And when I looked into it and what I learned about it is that, again, people think it was the South and the North or something like that. And it just went so broadly across. By the time the word got out, 2.5 years had already been by. So you want to talk about the ultimate day late and a dollar short situation, that affected a race of people, that it just can't be more than that, And then if I could just tie in the reason that the celebration would be the same reason why I feel that in America, we proudly celebrate the 4th of July. It's about independence, about freedom, and that comes with celebrating it.
Zahide, I'm going to ask you, did you grow up knowing what Juneteenth was? We had a lot of questions about that. I think in most people's minds, it is just a recent development. This is something recent that people have done, and that's the complete opposite. But I thought it was a good question. Did you grow up knowing about it? Did you celebrate it, or if the celebrations come later?
I love that question. So I'm actually first generation American, and I grew up in the Bronx, born and raised in New York City. And growing up, I did not know about it. I did not celebrate it. I actually found out about it when I moved to Florida 21 years ago. And I was actually part of a theatrical performance group. And we put together a show celebrating Juneteenth. And that was the first time where I was educated and understood what it was. And it was amazing because it was at Lake Eola. Believe it or not. I mean, City of Orlando support and everything like that. We shut down Lake Eola, had a fantastic celebration, did a wonderful performance. And so it is well known in the Black community, that I would say. However, there are so many things that the Black community does know, does celebrate. And, although we say we are, no longer segregated and that we are all together, it is, and I'm just going to put it out there. There are a lot of things that happen in our community that are not well known. And I'm excited that it's finally become a national holiday and that we can finally take down these barriers and educate people more about it.
Perfectly said. Show over. No, I'm kidding. I think it's important that you share that kind of stuff, and that one of the reasons why the panel is important is to show that there's more engagement. And one of the things I love about the real estate community, and especially all of you, is that you do things in the community. Your social media shows the things that you're involved with. You're real estate professionals, but you also are human beings, and you get super involved. So I want to give you kudos to that, because I think that's so important. I hate to use the word activism, but I think being an advocate and an activist, getting the message out on why this is important is what it's all about. Because until we all learn and begin to embrace it, you can't break down those barriers of ignorance and all of the other stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Rondra, have you guys done anything or planning to do anything with Juneteenth? And also talk a little bit about your own involvement in the community. I know you and Calvin and your team do a lot.
Yes, so I want to make sure I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
We can hear you great.
Yeah, so this weekend I'm really excited because, as Zahide mentioned, Juneteenth has tended to be in the past something that the Black community celebrated. And so this year, one, we're out of COVID, but number two, there's more awareness for Juneteenth. So downtown Orlando, Kissimmee, just all over the state of Florida, all over the US, we're finally getting to a place where we don't have to just celebrate as a Black community. We can celebrate just as a community. So it's, an all-inclusive holiday of, as Ken mentioned, the eradication of slavery in the US. So definitely something for us to, to celebrate. On a kind of personal level, one of the things that both me and my husband do, we've been a part of Meals on Wheels that deliver meals to seniors within our community, those who can, take care of themselves, can't get up and cook a meal. So we participate in that. But also several times throughout the year, we tend to get people involved with the food drive with Seniors First. And so that's really important to us, of just understanding difficulties. And that's, I guess, just bringing awareness to different things that are needed within our community. So it's not just, real estate. There's also just that service part of giving back. And just to add on to that, as far as something that I deal with is, you mentioned activism. So I'm also on the board of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, which is one of the oldest organizations for fair housing in our community.
I love it. That's one of the things that I love about the real estate community, realtors especially, is you really do touch so many aspects of the community. So your impact is actually much further reaching than you get credit for. You all are the voice a lot of times. I even think of things like RPAC and some of the things that realtors really band together to do. Your community is tight, and when you are all advocates, which you are, it makes a huge difference. Emmitt, you've got a whole bunch of people on here today. Tell me a little bit about what you all are doing. I'm going to bring you full circle here. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing, and talk a little bit about your social media. You're very big. Your team is amazing at social media, and I think you impact the community that way as well.
Yes. Thank you, Ted. I mean, for me, Juneteenth was it's not something that really apparently it's not something that I really grew up knowing about. It's just the recent years, getting more educated about with me, being in, I know growing up in Atlanta, that we really grew up. But the community, like, see, one thing, like, I don't really care for allowing any type of holiday dictator to determine what you do, because if things are done, doing it on a continuous basis, progress, and when you do things genuinely impact the community in a positive way, always uplift, be the bridge, or maybe be an outlet to individuals that just need support, the motivation, but whatever it is, like, like with the community, always add value. It doesn't. We're on the consistent. Our whole motto is 45 days. 45 days out, impact the community every 45. So whether it's Juneteenth, 4th of July, it doesn't matter. Making sure that we're able to put hands and deliver information that's going to change, not just.
I love that, because I think you guys live that every day, and it's shown on your team and your social media. And that's what I'm talking about, the importance of that. Now, Maya's new, so I'm going to bring Maya on. Maya's relatively new to the real estate world, but she works with a great team. Yeah. So talk a little bit about your experience with Juneteenth, Maya, and then tell us what you do in the community.
So I actually haven't really, it's only now that I'm learning about it, which I think is really awesome, because when you're a kid, you don't really understand things that are going on in society. So it's something that I've kind of been used to up until I turned 18. I realized that our ancestors have really been through a lot, and I'm really blessed to be here. I think all of us are, comparing now to back then. I feel like we're lucky to have technology and to have, this freedom. So I feel like at minimum, at least I can do in my community by example, and just be a good person, because I feel like 2020 was a tough year for everyone, not only with the pandemic, but I've seen the most social injustice and a lot of groups of people being mistreated, and I've actually never seen something like that before. And I know that's only a fraction of what we've been through. So I try to make it my personal duty as a realtor to kind of put my personality on my sleeve, because people don't just hire us for, to get the job done. They look at us for who we are. And I think that me leading my life and, by example and teaching other people in my age group how to be a good person is, I feel like, at minimum, the least anyone can do. Being a decent human being is free. And I think it goes a long way, especially with me using my social media. I try to make it known that I am, giving, and I want to give back to my community and my family, especially. And not only that, but it really hits me that right now we don't really realize how good we have it now, because sometimes I look back at how my grandparents grew up, and prior to that, because my grandparents grew up in the South, and me growing up in New York City, I really had an upper hand in how I lived. So I just want to emphasize to people to kind of take advantage of the resources we have now and just make an impact, really.
I love it. Thank you. All right. One of the busiest people on social media that I know and out in the community is the one and only Diante Lawrence. Diante, tell us a little bit about your thoughts on Juneteenth and it becoming a holiday and what you do to give back, because you're everywhere. And I feel like you're definitely one of those people who gets involved in community activities. So tell us a little bit about it. You're muted, my friend.
All right,
There you go.
We back. Boom.
You're back.
But I don't know if we're necessary. I'm everywhere, but first and foremost, to answer your question in regards to Juneteenth, it's actually similar to a number of people on the panel, right? I've known about Juneteenth majority of my life. However, right up until probably the end of 2019, right? When personally, I just got pissed off, man. Pissed off at just the imagery that's just constantly been put out. I'm not a fan of seeing dead Black men bodies on television. There's a great book called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. And it speaks on kind of things that media does and a number of things that keep people in a hypnotic rhythm. So just seeing that stuff is when I really started looking into not only my own history, but the history of Black people in general. And that's when I really got into Juneteenth and the meaning of it and why that should be something that is a date on the calendar for the whole nation to celebrate. I think it's going to be something I like to use. It's a Pandora's box, right? So the individuals who are really honestly want to look into Juneteenth, as soon as they look into that, they're going to then look into, dang, if that was done, what else was done into the community, the Black community specifically, right? And then you go down the rabbit hole. And then that just creates at least the people that I believe that want to get a real understanding, they will be able to see the perspective that the Black community comes from. Because I realize if you're not in our skin, right, you're not walking our walk, our living our lives, it seems like that can't be happening because I don't experience that, right? But as you look into Juneteenth and you go down the rabbit hole, you start to see stuff like the Coy Massacre, Groveland, Florida, the Tulsa Massacre, right? The Tuskegee experiments. The list literally goes on and on and on and on and on, right? So as you look into that and you think, okay, psychologically, what could that do to not only one person, but a community, a person, a generation, and for an extended period of time? There's no way a human being cannot understand where a community is coming from. And then understand, all right, these are my brothers and sisters. I see where they're coming from. Let's align so we can truly make this thing what it's supposed to be. So that was long-winded in regards to what Juneteenth.
I loved it. No, you can rehearse all you want. Makes my job so much easier.
So just in regards to that, just continue to push the movement forward. And my personal push in regards to my imprint on the world, I believe I was put here to be an example. And my thing is imagery. I believe imagery is the key to everything. And it's subliminal stuff, right? So I created a children's book and then it's going to be a TV show, a movie, and all that stuff. But just for the simple fact, so young Black boys can see a young Black boy on a book, on a TV show, right? But what that does, it reverberates throughout communities. So all communities are just used to seeing Black skin, right? They're used to seeing it. So now when you're approached by someone, you just see them as a person, right? That's how I grew up. I really didn't, all right. One of my best friends in elementary school was a white kid, but we were cool. We were just humans, you know what I mean? So that's just what I feel like is missing, that imagery piece. And that's, my goal until the last breath of my body is just to continue to put that imagery of success, of whatever you want to be, is you can achieve it out there in the world.
I love it. That was great. Even if it was rehearsed, it was perfect.
It was not rehearsed. This is off the top of the head. This is off the top of the head.
You did good, man. You did good. I had a lot of people ask me why, and maybe we should have. I told you all I'd love to have a follow-up panel on this. Why I don't have anybody white coming on as a guest, and I said, well, the last thing I want is white-splaining. Which we've talked about. And I just wanted to give a platform where I'm just listening in a conduit, because we all have to learn, and none of us have ever been in your skin. And so it's just super important. So thank you for that, Diante. And I love the book, and I love everything that you're doing. All right, Mike, tell us a little bit about your efforts when it comes to, and I'm going to take you off mute, my friend. Your efforts as a young Black man who's relatively new in real estate. Tell us your perception of what the realtor community has been with you, and what your plans are to do as an advocate in your community.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay. Great.
All right, so I'm very spiritual. I'm a big believer in God. A lot of things that I do, I tend to just go ahead and utilize his GPS. My plan currently right now was not to be in Florida. Before COVID, I was living in San Francisco. Like I said, I'm a flight attendant. So once COVID hit, I'm like, okay, well, what could I do? What change can I make? And plus, on top of that, I'm like, okay, how can I make money? So I've been thinking about real estate for a while. So I went on and got into real estate. So once I got into real estate, and I had a few friends that was already in it, they let me know about Combs. And just seeing what Combs was about, I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me go ahead and get into it. So just seeing their vision, matching it with my vision, and understanding the need for it within my community, especially back in, I was raised in Lakeland, Florida. So if you know anything about Lakeland, you know a lot of people, a lot of people out that way are very closed-minded. So when it comes to actually being able to do real estate, not only in Orlando, but in Lakeland, because I know a lot of people that way, it gives me the opportunity to educate, because I've noticed how much we're lacking due to that piece. So there's so many times where I'm actually I feel like I do credit more than real estate. Like I'm sitting in people's homes, pulling their credit, educating them how to get to that steps. It's like, yes, I want to get to that point to where I have, which I do, but I have like people pre-approved for 400,000, 300,000, all 500,000, $1 million. I want to get to that point, but it's also a pull towards making sure that everybody else is eating at the same time.
Yes.
And I have so many people that come to me, and I actually had a buyer's consultation yesterday, and it was a friend of mine and her husband. And they're like, Mike, we're ready to go ahead and get a house, but we wanted to make sure it was you because we trust you. And I get that so many times. Even if it's others that I know that know other real estate agents, they're like, Mike, I just want you because, well, everybody's, even my mom, they be like, you're not my father. Everybody feels like they call me Dad and Mike. Because I try not to go as hard, but I'm very straightforward with whatever it is that I'm going to say. So they're like, Mike, I know you want to keep it real with us. So which means that when it comes to this actual investment, I trust that you're going to get us what we need, or at least put us in that right direction. That's my main thing, just making sure that I provide the proper direction and getting what you need, because I do feel like everybody deserves the same thing that everybody else have. And I just feel like our community lacks education, and we lack the foundation of what we have here in America. So I feel like it's time for, because we always talk about the 40 acre and the mule that still have not been given. So now at this point, it's time for us to go ahead and take whatever it is that we feel like belongs to us.
Yes, I love it. That was so good. Very good.
Yeah. I got you.
All right. So I've got one more person here, and that's Shia. Shia, I'm sorry. Here we go. I got Zahide on my brain. Sorry, Shai. Shai, I'm going to continue to practice that, Zahide, I promise. Shai, tell us a little bit about your experience, and then what you've seen in the real estate community. Have you been do you feel supported? Are you planning to get involved in the community from an advocacy standpoint?
Well, my experience, I guess, is a little different because all through like grade school, I didn't really know anything. And then my freshman year of undergrad, I went to Howard University in DC, and that's a historically Black college. So everything was Black there. Like it was almost a culture shock because where I'm from, you just didn't really see it in that light. So like I learned so much about our people and our history, and all of the different things. And then that was when it dawned on me that like the 4th of July and celebrating it is almost like a conflict of interest for us because we didn't have the freedom that we were celebrating for like almost another 100 years. So that was when I first kind of picked up on the notion, okay, like this might be a big deal and something that we should really kind of focus on. And that was back in 2012, 2013. So here we are in 2021 and the year that we had in 2020. And like, we're finally able to, I guess, take the rose colored glasses off of the history of our people in this country. So, I mean, I definitely think that we're making progress in the sense of just recognizing that it's different for us. We don't always have those same mediums, those same outlets, those same things that everyone celebrates. Like we don't always have that same like sense of pride in that because it just looks a little bit different for us. So I do appreciate the acknowledgement and just the growth that has happened in the past just year. Like we've had more growth and awareness and people getting more involved in this fight with us in the past 365 days that we had in centuries, essentially. So with that being said, one of the major reasons why I joined Combs Premier Realty Group was that we don't chase deals here. We cultivate relationships and we build bridges in our community and we seek to educate. And Emmitt tells us all the time, if you're not here to provide value, like I don't want you. That's what we do. Like we focus on providing value, whether that is, communication with the community about resources or about buying a house or about selling a house or just about managing finances or anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, just like Emmitt said, we do this all year long. It doesn't take a holiday. It doesn't take a Christmas. It doesn't take a turkey giveaway. We do this every day. We wake up and be a part of this team. We're waking up and deciding that we're going to provide value in whatever way. And that is, we just last weekend, we had a community event completely free for the children, for the whole family, popcorn, snow cones, face painting, bounce houses, food trucks, beer, the whole nine, because
now you're talking.
Yeah, we gave away TVs, we gave away over $2,000 in closing costs, just because a lot of people think that, the journey to home ownership is unattainable, especially when they come from where we come from and they look like us. So when we stand in front of them, I just closed on my first house 2 weeks ago.
Woo! Congratulations.
In front of them as a single mom and tell them I was able to do this. That's how I know that you can. It hits different, and there's no better way to say it. It just hits them differently to see it versus being on social media watching the highlight reel of real estate, because everyone on this call knows that real estate is not a highlight reel. We go through it behind the scenes, and it all boils down to handing a new family the keys to their new home. So
it's the end game. It's so good.
Yeah.
I have two observations. First, if you could have seen Emmitt's face while you were talking, like proud dad right there, proud dad moment. And I know he's not your dad, but I love that. I love that kind of support, and that's what all of you do. The second observation I'll say is, until you just said that about July 4th, I hadn't thought of that. which is why these kinds of, even me, who I feel like is desperate to learn more and be more attentive and be more understanding and get it. I hadn't thought of that perspective before, which is why you all sharing that, because to me, July 4th is a big celebration and it's independence for the country, but Black people didn't have that. And so that's such a fascinating thing. And so thank you for sharing that. That's why these panels are so important. People can take away an observation that we would have never thought of because our perspective isn't the same. So thank you for that. As we wrap up, before StreamYard yells at me, I would love for each of you to just share a parting words of wisdom on Juneteenth on what you do, and then let the audience know the best way to reach you, because these are all real estate professionals, and it would be really unfair from my perspective if I didn't at least let them shine as far as that's concerned and share their information. So Zahide, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to continue to say it that way, because if I don't, God only knows what's going to happen. We'll start with you.
So, the thing that is screaming in my spirit right now is just bridging the gap so that people understand what systemic racism has done to the community, has done to real estate. You heard all of these wonderful agents talking about what they're doing for the Black community, all of the barriers and the challenges that they're having when it comes to financing and things of that nature. And I've had so many conversations, and that this might get a little uncomfortable, but there are people who are like, well, you know what, so what? They've got the same opportunities that I do. You can go out and get a job. You could this, you could that, you could. And people do not understand what systemic racism has done to a community. And, I could sit and talk about this all day long, but I just kind of want to give an example of, when I first moved to Florida and I lived in one community and then moved to another. And my desire was to keep my son in the school that he was in, just so that he could, not be separated from his friends and things. And the fight that I had to have, and I've lived everywhere in Central Florida. I'm not going to name the schools, I'm not going to name the places, but bottom line is that they fought me because of our zip code. And I was, in the community that I was living in, and I've lived in Pine Hills, I've lived in Altamont Springs, I've literally lived everywhere in Central Florida. But the idea that I had to fight a school system to keep my son in a school based on zip code is ridiculous. So now, systemically speaking, you've got to understand that, these communities, our communities with our Black people in it are there. You know what, I'm not even going to say it. Why are they there? Why are they together? And then why are the communities built the way that they're built? There is a reason. And as a result, it has created barriers to success. And I need everyone to wake up and be an ally. Be an ally. Love us.
You heard her.
Stand.
You heard her. Be an ally.
Go together.
I love it. And that's what this is about. I think that what you all share is motivational, inspirational to people. Sometimes it's the very first time they've thought about anything that you're saying. And so it's good. It's the only way we're going to continue to reach people and take away those chinks of armor, of barriers, like you mentioned. Thank you, Zahide. I appreciate it. All right. Oh, how do they reach you?
So you can reach me via email, or actually you can find me on Instagram. I should have probably had that pulled up, but I think it's Zahide_real estate coach. There's a bunch of underscores. Just look at my name. You will find me. Google me. Google me.
Listen, and it's Zahide, guys. Zahide, get it right. Thank you. Rondra, you're up next. Tell us.
Okay. I think I'll, also just kind of piggyback on the systemic racism, and how although everybody isn't in our skin, I would just say to look within yourself for love of self, for love of everybody else. And although you may not have been born with this skin and may not experience the same things that we experience, just have empathy. When your brother or your sister says that they're hurting, just listen to that. Sometimes, you just need to listen, not always all the time react, but listen. And then, as Zahide mentioned, becoming an ally. Have the conversations, like the conversations that you're having with us today, Ted. Ask the questions. ask the questions. We're here. You know, we're all in real estate. As Diante mentioned, we all educate. That's what we do all day, every day. So it's not just education on real estate. It's education also about our experiences.
Yes.
And so just having empathy.
Empathy, I like it. Y'all better look that word up, by the way, if you're paying attention. Mike, you're up. What's your parting words of wisdom?
Oh man. I guess I would tell a lot of people to basically learn how to remove the mask that you've grown into. You know, a lot of times we get into this comfortable state. We don't want to change. Either we see things happening to others, but we don't want to say anything about it. And I feel like that's where we're kind of stuck at. So I just feel like people need to actually be able to sit with themselves first and realize who they are to be able to see everybody else.
Self-reflection. I know you guys think it's painful, the audience, and it is, but it's a good thing. It's the only way for you to grow. Thank you. All right, Diante, you're up. Oops, do I have you muted or do you have you muted? You're muted. There you go.
I'm back. So, guys, listen, if you want to contact me, just Diante Lawrence, you'll find me. Like they were saying, Google me, you'll find me. I think I'm one of one. So in regards to just parting words, everybody has pretty much already taken the thoughts out of my brain. I just want to leave people with this. For those who want to stay on their side and refuse to, realize there are other experiences in this country, I'm not talking to you. Okay. I am talking to the people who have that empathy, who genuinely want to know what other people are going through, to have an understanding, to be a better person and to help raise or just be an example to those around them. So one, I encourage you to unlearn a lot of things that we didn't even know we learned, right? Or things that we weren't even taught, right? We're not taught this in school, Juneteenth. We're not taught that, right? That's for a reason. So I encourage you to educate your guys' selves. Look into kind of the history of a people that were in a country that promised something that they never received, right? Look into that. That'll give you another perspective. Then I encourage everybody else, the generation behind us, that is where it is. That is where it is. Continue that education, continue that imagery, continue that positivity, because that's all it literally is. Pour into them, not this negative BS, right? Not these negative stereotypes, prejudices. Just pour into the love, pour into what people are, right? Because if aliens come down and attack us, guess what? Because I'm black isn't gonna matter. Okay. So at the end of the day, just pour into the next generation, right? And uplift them, because they are really going to continue to move this movement forward in a real way and truly transform this country, depending on how well we continue to pour into them now. So thank you, Ted.
Amen. Thank you. All right, Maya. Parting words of wisdom. Oops. There she is.
Sorry.
There you are.
So I really like what Shai had mentioned about, if I can do it, you can do it, because my side of the family, no one owns a house. Everyone is renting. And I think all of us have picked this career to create a life that kind of doesn't reflect the stereotype of us, and it's really sad that that's what it is. But I would say to keep being successful, to kind of show people that, we are where we are and you can do the same thing. So that's something that kind of stuck with me. And it's something that I want to share with other people because, a lot of people in my community, I grew up with friends who lived in the projects and they're too afraid to go out of their comfort zone and they're too scared because of, the history behind what we've been through. So I think that us kind of being brave and going out of our comfort zone is really important.
I love it. Thank you, Maya. All right, Emmitt, you're up.
Parting words. To educate, provide options, deliver results. Paradigm. That's the word I think that really should seek in for everybody, honestly. Because if we want to see a different community tomorrow, we have to understand that we all have to learn how to continue to create our paradigm in order to see a different future. We have to learn to see the community from a different light. And in most cases, we appreciate, the growth made, and Juneteenth becoming a national holiday. But at the end of the day, Juneteenth is, it is a holiday per se, but we are the people, and the people have to be the one to make a change. We just can't talk about it. So I would say, learn how to recreate your paradigm, so therefore you can see people in a different light for tomorrow. We can't, keep using our past experiences to bring judgment on someone or to treat them indifferently because of it. So, I think that with us, being the gap and being the bridge, as we all are community leaders in real estate, I think it's our positioning to be the change in the community, be the light in the community, to help people know that we all can recreate our paradigm to see a different tomorrow. I can be reached, all platforms.
Oh yeah, here, tell us.
6 years, 6 figures. All platforms.
I've tagged everybody, so they should be able to find y'all. But all right, thanks, buddy. All right, Shai, you're up.
I would just say that for my departing words of wisdom, to just be in tune. I would say be in tune with yourself, be in tune with your higher power. Mine is God, yours could be whatever it is, but just be connected to it, because you feel things when they're not right. And don't be afraid to shake the table. Like, don't be afraid to shake up a room when you know that something is not right, and you know it because in your heart and your spirit, like, you feel that it's not right. And the more people start to not be afraid of doing that, I think the better we'll see the world. But you can reach me, my Instagram, Facebook, all my handles, YouTube are at Shai, SHAI, Shai the Realtor. And then Mike also forgot to plug his in. So his Instagram is Mike, MYK _self_. So I gotta put my partner in. So you got mine at Shai the Realtor and at Mike _self_ with the Y.
Thank you. All right, Ken Williams, you're gonna wrap it up for us. 20 words of wisdom.
Yeah. Definitely, it's about unity at the end of the day, guys. We're not asking for anything other than, our inevitable rights. But then it goes bigger than that, because so I want to say thank you to people like you, Ted, and others that may not, I know we've been speaking, and it may seem like we're talking to one particular race or anything, but it's about everybody. Everybody has a duty to dream, believe, inspire, and help the next person next to them. And I think if we just start kind of going on that path, we'll be fine. But you cannot expect anyone to move on without at least acknowledging, I can't heal unless you, help me with the wound that was caused. So don't just tell me, oh, you'll be all right. That's easy to say, but we know that there's illnesses, crimes, and stuff that you just can't get away with saying that. I think we're at that cusp. Let's not stop. Let's not minimize it to just one holiday, one day. This is our duty. This is a life cycle that we just have to do. And that's everybody across the board. So let's just continue to be kind to one another. Let's be less to judge and just quick to listen and learn. And I think we'll be fine. I have big faith that we're heading in the right direction. Let's keep doing what we're doing. And to find me, it's easy. Put a signal in the air. I'm there. Now, you can find me at www.kenwilliams.work. That's all I try to do. So appreciate you.
You all are amazing. When I say you are a blessing to me and the community, I want to say that to Zahide, Rondra, Diante, Maya, Mike, Emmitt, Shai, and Ken Williams, and all of you out there who are really fighting the good fight. There's a lot of us that want to fight it with you. And so in order to do that, we need to continue to educate and have discussions like this and share personal perspectives. Because like with anything, once we humanize it and we don't allow that desensitization to overtake us, because we're all desensitized, It's just so important. So thank you for taking time out of your mornings. Y'all reach out to these professionals. They do such good work in the community, and I want you to work with people who also give back. And these are all examples of that. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for being here, everybody. We'll see you soon. Please come back. We have a lot of work to do and a lot more to talk about.
We do.
All right, y'all have a great day. Juneteenth
Bye.
is